Guru Nation, thank you for coming, watching again. Listen, this is day 2, and if you count the pre-party, third day of doing a podcast. But you guys have a really interesting story, and just introduce yourselves. You guys came up to me at the Alice in Wonderland party, no?
Yeah,
And
we did.
yeah, tell us a little bit about your background and everything.
Sure. Okay, I'll start with me. I'm Dipali Patel. I'm a physician. I've been in the research for about last 10 years, helping sponsors and CROs in building their protocol, medical monitoring, the safety aspect. I saw there's a huge gap between what the protocol should look like and what actually the field work looks like at the patient side. So that's the reason we, started Stride Research. We are SMO in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and right now doing multi-therapeutic area trials and a different indication. But very nice to be here.
Wow, nice to meet you too. So this is like a family thing, and
Right.
it's a good. The thing about these small sites is you have family-owned businesses, and it's something that you lose as you get bigger. And
Yeah.
it's how has that been? Because the last couple here was also husband. My and
That's true.
yeah,
Right. We're too.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's been working
It
really
is
well.
more common than you think. Monica and Raul.
Yeah, that's right. I also met, I met her husband today. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And,
So Monica started as my coordinator in 2015, and then she went out and opened her own site in 2022 around that time. And then Raul was always medical sale, but they were always friends of mine. So he saw us like from the background, and he was like, I think I can do this, and they opened a site and do psychiatry. So it's like it's pretty
Right.
cool. How's that
Okay.
been for you guys? Like, how long has the site been around?
So we are more than 2 years now, 2.5 years. Same thing. My background is on the pharma side. So my research background is around 15 years, but clinical research is around 10 years. So I was as a
Okay.
business consultant for the pharma. So helping sponsor to set up their businesses, like as in their processes, systems, and everything in terms of how the clinical research works.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to do something on our own. We both actually. So her background is on medical and my background in operations. So we're like, okay, then site might be the right way to go about, because that's something we never did.
Yeah.
So we always either sponsor or the CRO side. And so of course I don't know if you remember, but the first time we actually talked to you about the research that, hey, we are really interested.
Yeah.
This is our background and we wanted to start. So the first thing you said, okay, how about this? Just do the coordinator training. And the Monica is the one who kind of trained me. Just a basic,
okay,
just 101,
okay.
because we knew everything, but then operations and everything. So
Wow.
yeah, so Monica and I have a long history, and Chris, yeah,
We should get her over here.
But I also have to tell you, like, we saw you guys and, we heard you a lot when we were thinking about the site. You guys are one of the reasons I was like, okay, I think we can do this. With their help, I think we'll be able to definitely start. And that's exactly what happened. So, in a way, thank you to you.
Wow, that's big time.
Yeah.
So how's the business been so far? Like
So
the
yeah,
first
it's-
2 years is like a lot of struggle, a lot of slow.
Yeah.
Especially that first year.
That's correct. So I remember the first 6 months is all about getting the study. So
Yeah.
every time I heard the new site, if they are struggling, like, don't worry, there is definitely light there at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, and then after that, it's really, you have now all the process, you have everything there, and that business development, marketing. So now you have that process, and then after 1 year, it's a new type of struggle. Getting your patient, making sure your operation is good, you have everything running as correct.
And the PI was
PI, right. So we were good enough, right? We kind of lucky enough to find a couple of mix of different therapeutic area PI. We had a good outreach in the DFW. We talked to different clinics, and we ended
Okay.
up getting some of experienced PI who used to do the research before, but they never continued because of operations reasons, or they didn't have people to run that. So we ended up talking to them and presenting ourselves, and now we are running successful with them. So
Wow.
so it's kind of working really well, and actually learning from your footstep, as in there is a 1 year book footstep, a 1 year milestone, which is you are there, you are of course not making any profit, but at least you are getting there, you're getting your study running.
Right.
Second year is when you will start getting your revenue. You can start getting some profit, and that is
Yes.
exactly what happened.
Yes.
And now we are in the growth cycle, third year, where we already have our
Ramp
goal.
up and
ramp
Right.
up.
get
That's where
everything.
we are, like getting expansion out of DFW, maybe doing some other new therapeutic area like psychiatry. We may not need did that in the past. Now we are So it's growth here for us this year.
How many coordinator do you guys have? Are you kept that lean?
Right now we have three coordinators. We have one like a research lead, or more like a site lead.
Okay.
We also have a research assistant. But what we did was we have created central. Like we have regulatory coordinator who does more like a regulatory stuff. We have data coordinator who looks for all the data entry and everything. And yeah, I
And then we
think
have a patient outreach, team as well. So their job is patient recruitment, patient engagement, be the patient advocate, so that we can actually help them, and that kind of helps to gain their trust in what we're doing. And
Have you talked to Ronick? Ronick?
I think I did
at
last
the
year.
Patient
Yeah.
Ace.
Yes, I have.
We use him. Actually, it's one of like I'm a part owner of it, but we've used it for Yuma clinical trials for patient recruitment, and it's
Yes.
like pretty good.
Right.
It's for psych, it could be a little better. I think that a lot of it is the filters that we put
yeah.
Yes.
to pre-qualify them better, and then in psych, it's notoriously known for no shows, and
Yes.
the last 6 months have been like a little bit slow for us.
Mm-hmm.
But like we're really good at weight loss and in our
Yes.
community. What studies have you guys done so far?
Actually, we are having some derm studies, which is like right now, lots of derm studies. The dermatologist we have has a large clinic network, so we are having around 200K active patient in his database. So derm studies we are doing well. The other is really rheumatology. So now we're getting into phase one. So all the sponsors were.
What's some indications for that like, room?
Rheumatoid arthritis,
Ah,
Sjogren's,
okay.
then we have some SLE, and there are some rare autoimmune diseases as
Yeah,
well.
so it's all like
right.
monoclonal antibodies, or it's other
Yeah,
things?
kind of. It's more on a cell therapy and that aspect.
There's a rheumatologist in Yuma, but we haven't worked with him.
Okay.
But we've done osteoarthritis. We've done metabolic, respiratory is kind of hard.
Yes,
Have you
respiratory's
done-
been.
you've done-
We have.
Asthma,
We've done
yes.
some
They screen fail
asthma
a lot.
studies,
Yes,
right?
yes, that is-
It's screen failed a lot.
Did you
like,
randomize anyone?
We ended up screen failing pretty much
Us too.
because the protocol was meant to be just screen failing the patients fully.
I
that's
hate
my
that. It's like
critical
90%
observation. Right.
screen
That
fail.
is
Yeah.
85 to 90%.
But they paid all the screen fails. so-
They did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the good, at least not the good part, but the demographic wise, asthma is number one in demographically India. So at least patient pool wise, we are good.
We were
What's your
able to
guys'
get
role
the
at the
patient.
site now? Like, what is each of your roles at the site?
Good question. So I'm more on the operations, as in more on the business side. So business development, finance, and HR.
Okay.
And she's due to the medical.
I'm operational, more like
Okay,
in the
because of
medical
the
aspect.
physician
Right,
background.
exactly. So that helps a lot with the,
The PIs
research
love
naive
you, no?
PIs.
She's
So
usually sub-investigator for all the studies.
right.
So that's what it's about.
If you were to do psychometric rating scale, you would be a rater too.
Yes,
could
I
be.
can be. And I have really like more than 50 studies under my belt before I started Stride.
Okay.
Because I was a VP of medical monitoring and safety and PV and all of that. I've helped with a lot
Gotcha.
of the protocol
So you
development
understand
and
that
all of
very
that.
well.
Exactly. So when I look at the protocol, I exactly know what are the pre-screening criteria as we should be looking and where we need to find those patients. So then I meet with my patient, outreach team, and this is where we come up with the plan and strategy, and then we go with that. So it's been really good for like rheumatology trials, especially because those are the patients, they need help, they don't know where to go, and when we talk about it, they're jumping onto the studies for those. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's really cool combination that you guys
Right.
have. So medical monitor for a decade.
I did, yeah. And
Wow.
safety and pharmacovigilance.
What do sites like? I guess what do sites do? What are you surprised about that you did not know as a medical monitor of how sites operate?
Good, really great question.
One thing I was really surprised is, well, this is going on the sponsor side of it. When I have a study at the site level, there are a lot of questions I had. And a day to day, let's say if the patient comes, I pre-screen them, they're meeting, but sometimes they're not exactly black and white. There is that one gray area that I need a clarification whether should we go for a screening or should we not? Like I need a nod from a sponsor. To reach that, and the study medical monitor is a difficult task, which is a surprise to me because when I was a medical monitor, for me, I was there for sites even at 12 o'clock at night, and I was picking up the phone and I was talking to them.
And now?
Here, I'm dropping an email, I'm telling CRAs, but it's not going there. And so I get a response 3 days later, and by that time I'm losing a patient
But yeah,
already.
the issue's over already.
Right, yeah,
It's-
exactly.
Usually you're emailing calling in an emergency or
Right.
semi-emergency
Exactly.
situation.
Right. So I think not being able to reach or not getting an answer or clarification right away, that is a surprise from the medical monitoring
Yeah.
standpoint. So that's
Is
my
do you find the work more rewarding as a site owner or?
I do. I
Yeah.
do. When I make a difference, or because I lost touch on the patient facing, because I was more on the behind the computer, behind the protocol. But now I see that direct difference, and I love that. That to me is very rewarding. One of the part that I missed is that of patient facing. So with
Everybody who
that-
goes like from
Right.
site or, in your case, a clinician background to CRO,
Yep.
says they missed that
Yeah.
interaction.
So this was my sweet spot to be there and then still do what I do best. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. What's next for you guys? What's the plan? Like, you said SMO, so you planning multiple
Yes.
site or?
Yeah. So right now, what we do is each therapeutic area we have like a hub and spoke model. So we
Okay.
kind of work out of their
kinda do that
individual
too,
clinic,
yeah.
and also we have our own hub where we run a couple of trials as well.
Okay.
But with that, we also wanted to go outside of DFW. So we like one of the PI we work here in DFW. He has actually main clinic. He's a neurologist, and he has some contacts like a
So you can do,
psychiatrist
like-
in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
So now we're working with
okay.
him to set up everything there.
What kind of tech do you guys use?
Yeah, so good question. So we for the business development we use Zymer, CleanWire. So
Zymer.
yeah, so we kind of
Okay.
we started using that. We kind of when I saw
They
that,
were here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually so basically it's an interesting story. So last year I saw that and I'm like, this is good because this kind of gives so much information on the lead side, like a business development point of view. So I'm like, why don't you have something for site? And then because fees and everything, of course, is for CRO and not for the site. So they're like, okay, what is the number looks like for the site? So I kind of work with them. They gave me a deal to use that for 1 year. They're like, let us figure it out the product. And this year they came up with the CleanWire, which is the new product for the
Yes,
sites.
that's
only.
brand new because
That's brand
we've been Zymer users for quite a long time, man.
Right, yeah. We
That
started last year. But it's,
Looks like they've now. What is that, like AI? They're integrating AI. into it?
yeah, there is a talk, but some of it. But in general, what I was talking to them is more about the search insight. So more about the getting the value out of the data. And I
Okay.
can see that, right? So some of these studies, one of these studies we do, like there is a question from PI whether sponsor will be able to pay us. How do we know if the sponsor is big enough because they're a small sponsor? So they have at least good information on when they had investments, when the sponsor got that money. So
Yeah.
that tool can be really handy,
Wow.
not just business development, but also understanding the sponsor, how they operate, those kind
So
of stuff.
as you expand, like from Dallas to you said Louisiana,
Yes, Louisiana.
you're gonna not move there, no?
No.
But how are you gonna manage the?
So the way we have set up right now since last 2 years is setting up the process and systems. So everything like we use Creo.
Okay, Creo,
for
okay.
everything.
There were shout out to Creo. That's a sponsor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were pretty good. Of course, there are some enhancement we need to do, but hey, but
Yeah.
it's working really well. And that thing I knew from the beginning that okay, we need something if you want to.
You have to have a foundation.
Yeah, it's a foundation. And yeah, I think all of it's like really we have trackers. I personally don't like trackers, but they works for the team, especially coordinator and everyone, and this people. So it's like every different areas we have one person assigned who are responsible and accountable. So that way, and we have a dashboard. So every day, every week, we can check. Okay, if something we need to look for.
Yeah.
It can be finance, it can be business development, it can be quality because as you know, site
I
we
was
talk
just going to
about.
say, right. The
Yeah.
QC measures are like implemented in the process itself. So
Right.
every visit, once it's done, the QC will happen the same night or the same
Is
day.
that like a
and
tool, another separate tool?
Not
a
right now.
person assigned.
Oh, you have a
for
human.
that.
Human,
Right.
yeah.
a
Because
human
pretty
for it.
like they're already talking about like AIs with this.
Yeah, I talked to a
Right,
couple of
yeah,
people about that.
Yeah,
I
they
haven't
say
seen
it
that.
works, but I don't know. It's
Yeah,
kind of
same
new.
here.
Yeah, I
It's
haven't
new.
tried it
Yeah.
yet, so I don't know.
They have like this fractional coordinating, and I guess you can do fractional QA.
Wow.
Oh,
QC.
okay.
I mean, in theory, like it's if you take like the legality out of it, we
Right.
talked
Right.
about this on the stage on the AI panel. If you take the, I couldn't be as blunt, I guess, but if you take the legality out of what this strategy is, right? And obviously, there's no personal health information,
Sure.
so you're not even going like
No.
the HIPAA violation. But if you just upload the source from
Yeah.
Creo, you know how you could download the
Yes.
PDF.
Yeah.
If you upload it to ChatGPT and say, pretend you're a monitor, here's the protocol, monitor this visit, like it's gonna give you something,
Right.
Agreed.
and
Yeah.
it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
Now the whole argument is that legal because ChatGPT says they own
Like
all
how
the
they
own
data,
the data.
and you never told the
Uploading the
sponsor
data.
you're gonna upload the protocol.
Right.
But does that mean you shouldn't do it? I mean, clearly, like there's sites doing it already.
So
Like, and it's not like the sponsor would even really care if you're doing it right. They're never gonna tell you, like, you shouldn't do it
Yeah.
if the work is getting done good, right? They would just rather look the other way.
yeah. But I think my biggest of course, that is the first question I ask. Couple of AI people, because I like to talk about technology and process
Yeah.
everything to the side. So I talked to a couple of them, and that was my first question. I think one of them pointed really good. How about we use offline version of ChatGPT that can basically prevent you?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, theoretically you're right.
Well,
You're
the
right.
guys were saying like the same thing happens when you put in Gmail or,
There you go, and
Right.
that's
Yeah,
true.
And, that's a
and
valid
nobody
point, too,
cares
right?
when
Yeah,
you email
exactly.
protocols to
Right.
people.
Yep.
But I always say for the AI, it's 70 to 80%. So at least it can make you efficient to get there. And then there is a human, which is 30%, where we will need no matter what, so do that. So that's, but for now, yeah, we have people and process, what do you call it?
The humans, yeah. Well, as they're bringing down all the stuff, but this was really good. We got to get your LinkedIn underneath the profile here, and just say your guys' name and company one more time, and everybody go connect. We'll have their LinkedIn underneath.
Okay. Hi again. We're Stride Research based in Dallas, Fort Worth. And, do reach out if you guys have any other questions or, comment for us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Bye bye. Hey, if you guys like that kind of content, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Stay tuned for more videos.